Evening, everyone. We'll call the public hearing to order at 6:16. Do we have a legal notice or anything?
Yeah, a legal notice was published twice in the notice, put my computer alone. If you wanna, I'll read it aloud. Absolutely. Give me a second, Chairman. All right. Okay. Notice is hereby given that on Thursday, February 26th, that's 6:15 in the Canaan Falls Village Town Hall located at 108 Main Street, Falls Village, and remotely via Zoom, the Planning and Zoning Commission will hold a public hearing on the following. Consideration of a special permit for the operation of a personal service establishment, parentheses yoga studio, in a municipal building located at 107 Main Street, Falls Village, Connecticut, 06031. At this hearing, all interested parties may appear and be heard, and written testimony may be received. The application associated with the public hearing will be on file in the office of the town clerk at the Canaan Falls Village Town Hall 20 days in advance of the hearing. And that was printed twice on February 9th and again on February 16th.
Thank you. With that, do you want to just introduce yourself, spend a few minutes? Just
Hi, everyone. My apologies for the massive upper respiratory. I just don't want to get business. My name is Monica Zilby. I am from North Canaan. I'm a registered nurse for 15 years, certified yoga, aerial yoga, and movement specialist. So I'm looking to rent the space inside of off the Charles Cafe to use like a private, small scale, small group yoga, movement, and therapeutic circles space.
any questions on that part? Dave, do you have anything you want to say on behalf of the town?
I can tell you that we've had how many inquiries regarding?
It's been about a
I'll
dozen.
defer to Judy.
Yeah, there was about a dozen, but we narrowed it down to three. And the big issue was there was no water in there. So those who are looking for like a hair salon, something like that, it wasn't going to work out. And Monica's proposal to us was very professional and it was quite exciting. She's got a great following. I think it's going to be a great asset to the community and she'll work well with Off the Trail. It's just, I think it's going to be great. It's not going to be a huge impact on the town, but it is going to be bring people in. And I think I may even join the punch.
I would like to add.
Sorry.
No.
No. I'm more of a therapeutic specialist, so I tend to work more with very beginners, people that are broken. That's what I like to call it. I teach a men's beginner class now in North Canaan. I call it broken contractor yoga. So I generally don't teach like the flashy yoga that you see on social media, that you see in different places. If you can't move, if you're in pain, I'm the person that you want to see.
And that's all I was going to add. I'm familiar with Susan Mazzarelli, who has a yoga studio, and I know that Monica has worked up there for a number of years.
6 years now.
A number of different yogas that she'll be introducing here, and the space is very, very conducive to yoga. Just the adding of mats, which your clients would bring themselves. So again, it requires nothing from the town except perhaps a gallon of paint for one wall, but other than that, it doesn't require us to add any sinks, plumbing whatsoever. We still have the shared space and the shared bathrooms.
when you say shared, I know the bathroom, what's the other space, the little area?
The actual shared space is that little space is 400 some odd feet in there that she can pass through, where her clients can to use the bathrooms and so on.
Just where the tables are.
She has,
Yes,
and she has where, the old vault is.
yes,
For
that'll
storage.
be for her.
The vault was there.
Yeah,
You need
for
to
those
call-
valuable
Yeah,
yoga
it's gonna be
mats.
locked up tight.
And she'll be working hopefully with the seniors upstairs, so it's a big plus for that. We're excited.
And I know, Greg, that you and I have off the record spoke about layering. And I think this would be a very nice layer.
Nice.
That's for one.
Now you know what he said, figured out the word.
Yeah.
I thought he was talking about Larry, right?
Layer, yeah.
Not Larry, Larry.
Layering.
Layering.
Larry, yep.
That's a deer, it's a deer, but it's.
Is it a year lease or how does it work?
2 years.
That's a year lease. Okay.
Any further questions? Just for clarity, this is, required because it's municipal owned leased property. So this has to go through, this special exception. And in essence, this is the change of use as well. So going from a art gallery to a yoga, is it okay to call it a yoga?
Yoga studio. wellness.
Yoga studio, a wellness center. So it's kind of multifaceted under this one special exception. Hey, Vincent.
Okay, guys.
Come on in.
Chair.
Come on in.
I was doing yoga, so.
Yeah.
You got stuck in the couch?
That's okay.
Perfect. I think he's
I
fine.
got it.
I can scooch down.
Got his pick of the litter over here.
Okay.
Which is pretty smart.
That's very good.
Now that we're settled back in, Vincent, did you have any questions about the proposal? So, change of use, change of,
I didn't have a problem with the change of use. I wondered about the bathroom situation.
they just talked about that, they'll have the, access to the,
The one in the restaurant.
yes.
You can go to the bathroom, and you can get your food, and you can get back in.
Food after.
Nutritious.
That's where they hang, they swing above the food. I like it. And your hours might not coincide, you probably do later in evening classes still.
Right, so I think mainly to start, it will be private and small group, to begin with, and I do plan on working with Liz and seeing if we can offer things together.
Okay. That's good.
You maybe a class and, you know, tea or a meal.
A low fat muffin or something.
Like, don't take all the fun out of it. Just by chance, I was eating in a cafe, was sitting with Howie, and he was so excited. So, it definitely, as stated, they're in full support of this. With that, any public comment, questions?
So I'm a student of Monica and I've known her a long time and I'm a resident of Falls Village and I'm very in favor. But my name is Jamie Christian for the record.
You think.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Can you hear me? It's Liz. Hi, how are you? I'm on Zoom. I don't know if you can hear me
Yes, we can hear you.
from the cafe. I just wanted to offer my support for what Monica's doing too. We are very excited. It seems like it will be a lot of fun. And I will definitely try to curtail a more healthier menu options. Not as much, we might have to kill the fryer, but I'm excited. I think it's going to bring a lot of balance to the town too. It's a great idea. So that's all.
You with?
Thanks, Liz.
I'm glad. I forgot about the Zoom. Sometimes I forget about the Zoom. Anybody else on Zoom have a comment, question?
No?
Hearing none. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, Chris Kinsella. How do you propose getting your clientele base and advertising and
I have a fairly significant following now, And, I mean, I am a nurse, I still work full-time. I teach classes in North Canaan and I'm just advertising through social media and different, modalities that I've been using. I have, people that I already see privately in their homes. So I think that having a space and being able to offer more, it will be a fairly easy transition.
Yeah, because I'm a broken contractor and I know.
Broke or broken? Welcome to the club.
That's really like helping people be able to move and age more gracefully. We're all getting older. And can we do it in a safer way where we're more mobile and not in pain?
So my legs aren't growing, that's why it's harder to get my shoes on.
Gas Eileen, it's like, can you help me put the shirt on, please?
Well, I just want to know if they have a sign up sheet. We're gonna fill it for here.
Yeah, send people right here.
Notes.
It's like E&D commission.
With that, a motion to adjourn the special exception hearing, public hearing
So moved.
at 6:28.
28.
Eileen, is there a second?
I'll second.
Tim, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, so we can go right into it, right? In the comments. All right, so we'll call the meeting to order at 6:28. Approval of minutes from our regular meeting, January 22nd, 2026. Thank you, Mr. Bell.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Doug, is there a second? Anybody?
Oh, I can't. We have to go through them first. I wasn't there, so I can't.
Okay.
Yes.
So I have a chance.
A second,
I'll second.
Eileen. Discussion, Stephen?
It's Kathy Clark, in the alternate members via Zoom, not Kimberly Clark
Let's see.
on the attendance part, right at the beginning.
Oh, yeah.
We had a roll of paper towel in front of her.
Oh,
I didn't even see it. Oh,
Kathy.
Kathy.
Good catch.
Yeah, no. I listened to the meeting today, so going through it.
Any other comments, corrections? So motion. So I guess we need another motion to amend the minutes.
Motion.
Matt and Vincent second. All in favor of the amended motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. So then we'll go to the motion to approve the minutes as amended. So we just approved the amendment, now we'll approve the minutes as amended. So need Matt
So moving.
and Vince again.
Matt and Vince.
Matt and
You
Vince,
will here.
all in favor?
Aye.
And I'm abstaining.
Oh yeah, forget about the abstention. Sorry, Stevens.
No, you're good.
No abstention. Public comment?
I have one.
Public comment? Anyone? Is there anyone out
He
there?
always has one.
Not hearing anything. Go ahead, Denise.
Okay, so I'm here, I'm sure you can guess, over the units at the IATSA. And I have a letter, a copy for everybody, and a copy of the zone, one for the minutes, but. Back in 2013, I think it started about 2001, the whole project. This application, this single application was not changed since the selectmen approved it. Clearly
I think they're all the
stated in
same.
places, up to 14 years, up to 27 Becky, maximum up, it's all over this application, everywhere. In the minutes from the P and Z meeting, it says, the commission would consider the zone as identified in this application.
Here.
It's all over the. That is what was presented to the selectmen, the P and Z, very important to the public. And the purpose of the zoning board having a public hearing is to let the public know what the zoning change is going to be. Unfortunately, the regs that were prepared are materially different, very different from what was approved. And I'm hoping, well, let me go back a sec. I know it's been said that that number of 14 max was a suggested number. I'm sorry, nobody puts the words up to or word maximum of in front of a number, and then the only suggestion is it's somewhere between 0 and 14. It's not over 14. And it concerns me that right now we have one with 16 and a possible 10 more, even more. And we have regulations that can allow up to 80 units on that parcel. And remember, this application that's approved is for the entire parcel, not just a portion of it. The integrity of a public hearing depends on planning and zoning presenting what is going to happen with the zoning regs. You can have minor changes here and there. But even going over the 14 is not what the public supported. It's not what the selectmen supported, P and Z, or the state. Governor Malloy's headlines were approve 14 units in the town of Canaan. So what I'm asking is for the Planning and Zoning Commission to make an amendment to the regulations to honor the application that was approved by everyone, which is a maximum of 14. I understand that the housing trust is up to 16, so do a waiver for 2, but cap it. And you got to do it soon because it's not fair to Habitat to sell off a chunk of that land and then be told later, oh, you can't build there because we put a cap on it of 14 or 16. And that's outside of your realm, but I'm just saying it's not fair to them. So I'm really hoping that this commission who's been stuck with this battle now will make an amendment and honor what the town approved and what the citizens, they can't say agreed to, but what they were presented by planning and zoning, the board of selectmen, and the state approved. So there's a copy of the actual application in that packet. If you haven't seen it, it's 45 pages long. Highlights are mine. I apologize. I highlighted them before I copied it. And there's my letter which references all over this place. Copy for everybody there too.
Are there little cursive swear words in there that we need to be worried about?
No, I think I took a while. Hey, I guarantee not.
We'll put that in the minutes. We can attach those part of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other? Hearing none, nothing on Zoom, right, Steve?
No, I've been on Zoom.
Hearing none, new business, item A, special exception for use of 107 Main Street as yoga studio.
Can I back up a minute?
You can.
We had communicated about adding.
Yes,
to the
yes,
agenda.
thank you. And I have a couple items as well. Go ahead.
Is that a motion to be made?
Yep, motion for, and I think that would be under new business.
Okay, well, I'd like to make that motion and that we add to the agenda discussion on the IHC zone. We'll leave it off last month.
Where would that, what's that gonna fall under?
The old business item E.
Okay.
Is there a second on that motion? Second. Stephen? Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I'd also like to propose adding under new business C, Vincent terms expires at the end of February. So we'd like to discuss that, so I would make that motion, looking for a second.
Second.
We'll give it to Vince. Any discussion on that? So move to item C under new business. And did I have one other one? That was it. That's okay. And we don't need to seat any alternates, right? We're
Fine, no? Yeah. We didn't have any alternates online.
makes it all easier. All right, back to new business, item A, special exception for 107. Any discussion on this item? I mean, it seems pretty straightforward to me and seems like a positive benefit for Falls Village and
Chairman,
Like-
just for the record, the application was complete, payment's been received, I have the form, and then all of the neighborhood notification receipts were also attached, so they've executed the application process successfully.
Very good.
What's the rent? Just curious.
That is outside of my jurisdiction and purview.
It's not on there, huh?
No.
Good.
If there's no more discussion, I would entertain a motion to approve the special exception as presented.
Make a motion.
Matt, is there a second?
Second.
Doug, any discussion on that motion? Is that motion complete enough for what we need?
I was not listening closely to the
It was
motion.
pretty, yeah, it was. Matt, what was your motion?
I talked for a long time, but I would like to make a motion to approve. Yes.
To approve it as presented? Do you need more?
To approve, I would say just the special
Just special-
exception
approve
and
special
the
exception.
change
And change of use
as presented.
of 107 Main Street as a yoga studio.
Excellent. This is excellent.
So well.
Period.
Special exception and what?
Change of
Change of
use.
Change of use. Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay, so we have that. You're good on that? Wording? Is that
Yes.
well worded motion?
Yes.
Do my best.
All in favor?
I'm ready to see.
I,
Oh, this is a special exception. We have to go one-on-one. So Vince, it's a special use, special exception. So you have to record individually. Are you agreeing?
No, but that's.
I think it's well, dinner, right?
Good chart.
Matt,
Aye.
Stephen, approve?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Tim,
Yes.
Eileen?
Aye.
Doug? Is Kim's on here?
Kim?
Yes.
Yeah, she's, yes.
And that's myself, I, so unanimous. And, thank you, Board of Selectmen, for your work, and I think it's a nice benefit for our town. Next item, lot line modification, 190 Route 63, Chris Hopkins. Hi, Chris. How you doing back there?
Oh. So I have the site plan for everyone to look at. The decision at hand this evening is simply your lot line modification, so you'll see here, there's land to be conveyed and combined with neighbors. And there's going to be, my understanding is a shared driveway access way. I have been out to the site with the state, who we were together looking at the sight lines, and it was ruled that this would be an appropriate area for the ingress and egress, and then the proposed access-way easement would be in favor of property owner Chris Hopkins that owns back here. So at this evening, at this juncture, it's truly just conveying land to the adjacent Melissa Stratman. You'll see here in the gray. It's a precursor to development. The action this evening is not allowing for the development. You'll see the barn and the dwelling, but just for the record, the decision before the commission would simply be for your lot line revision.
A quick question. Is it a land swap that's causing the lot line?
I would ask that to Chris, actually.
No, I'm just,
Just moving it
conveying
along.
that piece to them. It helps them with further septic or well issues, because their lot is below
Got it.
conforming anyway.
Great. No, yeah, perfect. Thank you.
Great, it's a great question. Yeah, so Stephen, you'll see it'll be here. So this line would be eliminated and they'll now have a larger
Yeah,
lot.
good. I just didn't know if that was the swap for the
Yeah.
access point. That
No,
was-
it's a great question.
That's being added to here, so that's the old one.
Yeah.
Oops, I
Yeah.
kill myself and then drop off it.
Yeah,
Catch it.
yeah,
Awesome.
and then, yeah,
An apple.
so there are the Stratmans non-conforming right now?
correct.
Too
Gotcha.
much pledge.
Are we?
It's pretty good thing now.
Yeah. Been doing our homework.
I love it. It's great. So it's very.
Straightforward.
Yeah.
Mhm.
is this just informational purpose, or do we need to?
So, great question. Since there's been a standard operating procedure in place since 2016 that requires lot line modifications to come before the commission, we have just had a motion on the record to memorialize your decision making, which just would back up the decision. Great question.
Who's up for the well-worded motion? And you're on a roll, man.
I'll make a motion. Lot line modification. On 190 Route 63.
One question, do we need to have the two lot numbers as part of the motion?
Not necessarily. I would certainly reference this map.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure if we.
Yeah, I would just reference it's the partial property survey showing the proposed lot line revision. But that's a great question. And it looks like it's dated. I'm reading upside down,
10/8,
October
October 8th.
8th, 2025 with no revisions.
I can barely see Matt and you're reading.
Yeah. All time.
Second.
Yeah. I'll make the motion for approval of the lot line modification for what the partial property survey map. As per October 8th, 2025.
Second, any further discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Salute.
I Tim too, yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thanks for your
Great.
time.
Back roll not very full.
You know where to find us.
You know where to find me.
All right, Vincent's term expires. We wanted to discuss, Vincent.
Beauty pointed out that my time has come. But,
I hope you say, oh,
the hammer over. Getting to the back. You know, I been doing this a long time. The things that I most am pleased with is being involved with two POCDs, and the new POCD I think is very good, and I'm glad to see we have a committee now that is following up on the POCD to make sure things happen as much as possible in the slow motion of this town often. The other thing I wanted to mention, I attended the Fifth Thursday presentation on January 29th, I think it was. And I thought it was a very good presentation that gave you insight into the affordable housing issues in the whole state, and then the timeframes it takes and what it's involved and with what came up. I can't believe it's 2013 that we were discussing this original housing issue. I didn't see anything in that whole presentation that should give us these enormous fears about there being 80 apartments on the properties in this town. But what I was going to suggest is that P&Z suggests to the other commissions and the other committees that are relevant in town to look at this, because this issue of affordable housing is not just P&Z, and there's a lot of influence that we happen if people are educated more. So I think that whole evening is available for people to review, and you see a lot if you haven't seen it. The only disappointments I have, how much time it takes to get anything done often. And I know we're going to discuss the firehouse sale, but that's been something that I'm really been disappointed with. But I'm so pleased to see younger people, some younger people here, and I'm going to miss it, but I think it's my time. And if it's important for me to stay on because we don't have someone to come on right away, I can do that. But that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I mean, we have good numbers. The choice is obviously yours. You could resign at any time. I know you, we had spoke prior and said he's ready to resign after Judy put the hammer down on him.
Terms up when, Vince?
And
It's been a lot of years. I mean, it's been a long
Long
time.
time.
It's been interesting to be on it before with Fred, with the other elders. So,
Why are you looking at me?
yeah, but I really, think one other thing I think is important. I'm the only one, I think, that's on this committee or commission that has New York City and has Falls Village. And I've had my property in Falls Village for 25 years. And it's a big property, pay a lot of money in taxes. I think it's important to have someone on the DNC committee that is not here 24/7 all the time to give their input also. Because many of those people are people that support this town a lot. So that's the other thing I wanted to say. Anybody else want to challenge that?
You gonna find somebody from Music Mountain to take your spot? Or?
It's interesting. There's a number of people from Music Man, but we've already got Music Man.
We had a good showing.
Kathy's
Kathy's up there. Yeah, no, I
We still have two members.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kathy.
Yeah,
there too, so,
we're
I mean, we're
represented
all
well.
lined up there.
Yeah.
But I think it's important to find someone, or at least have them as an alternate that is a commuter at times. I mean, I'm here more than I've been in the city, but it gives another perspective to things.
That's what I was gonna say, is you brought a wonderful insight to the board, so thank you for not only your insight as not being a full-time resident all the time, but also your creative influence has been huge as such an important part of
Thank you.
what we've done. So thank you for your insight and your creativity.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good years together. We've done some good work together. We got gray together.
I
We
was
were
great.
both dark hair when we started.
So I guess, then it'll just go on next month without me, or should I still?
Well, that's completely up to you. If you want to stay on until we get somebody new, then we have to renew your term. If you want to resign tonight, you're welcome to resign at the end of your term.
And we're okay with that, resigning tonight with the.
As far as quorum?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a quorum and we have
Yeah, we have-
alternates.
I think it's
and
better
We're
because
covered.
the health things I've been dealing with and stuff like that, I'm always in conflicts. So. We'll do it tonight.
Great.
Thank you.
Well,
Thank you, Vincent.
Vince. Like I said, it's been a good run.
And I'll stay for the rest of this.
Oh, yeah, you're not resigning right.
That's your work. It's not that.
Home for dinner.
Yeah.
Drop in the mic. Maybe that is style. Leave.
That's not even accepted.
What's the process for finding new members? I know how I was, the chat.
Yeah, recruitment, word of mouth, we do have alternates that, we can move up.
Right, and then you can fill those spots, right?
And
Fill in
the alternate, which is a nice stepping stone to get to know the commission and.
And we can go to the two parties again like we did last time and ask them if they have any input, even if they would like us to bring it on. So yeah, 2 o'clock's back.
I think it's important too to have somebody come to the meetings that you're considering and have them attend a meeting or two.
Oh, yes, of course. Well, because this is fairly recent for me, that process, and there was a paperwork discussing what was important to the commissioners. A visit and listening to a couple of meetings and really kind of understanding.
You were heavily vetted.
Right? Well, but sure we would do that to others, but the process from the outside is, not really known. So you kind of got your fingerprints, so you work out. Brother.
I think that's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's understood.
Because Right, especially people that travel, or we're talking about somebody, if you wanted to fill that spot, their time is not in the evening on Thursdays always here.
Right.
If they're working in the city, coming on the weekends, those kinds of things.
One of the
it'd be
advantages
difficult to
that
fill
has
that spot.
happened is that we have Zoom now. I mean,
Mhm.
Made a big.
16 years ago, we didn't have it. Yeah. But, I think it's important though, as you pointed out, for the outside to understand what we do and how we
I run
choose
into
people.
a lot of people who are not here full time, who said, "What is that all about?"
Right.
Or how do I find out when there's a meeting? Or what is a special meeting? They're not. They're not fully. They're concerned about a lot of the same things. Conversations at the dump are about different things. What's going on here? Who's moving in? What's going on?
Invite them here for our quirky,
Well, yeah,
quirky commission.
they post it all over.
I think we're muted. So, yeah, yeah, it's tough. We're losing some long-term brain power, but you're going nowhere, and we expect certain, call-ins on Zoom, or you just.
Well, I'm waiting for the public comment. He's just gonna come and sit for the meeting.
Look forward to them. All right, old business village center parking plan, that's just status quo, same on the solar committee update. Should maybe maybe we'll look forward to the summertime.
Should we keep these on the?
I think we should. They're for Chris and I.
Just for you and Chris, if you are looking to resume solar committee update, you might want to have a conversation with Morris around some solar that's going up there on a farm. It's a little controversial and it's not on municipal property. So it might just be worth looking into if you are pursuing, like, if you want solar, are you gonna limit it to municipal land? Are you gonna open it up to viable farmland?
Chris is all about that. I'm not.
Yeah, Litchfield is an example too, because there's the solar on their old farm, so it's been not without controversy.
But now it's proposed in Morris as well.
It's a private property, private farm.
Do you know who's?
Yes, near the town hall. I don't know the name. It may come to me during this meeting and I'll let you know.
Just blurt it out.
Yeah, I'll just blurt it out. It'll pop into my head, but it's a very visible farm near the center of town.
Let's keep.
What's that?
Let's keep.
No, not that one.
Earl. Earl, town.
I don't believe so.
Let it come to her.
It'll all.
You know, in Litchfield, there's more than just what's at the high school?
Yeah, so it's on the town farm property. It's tucked near the Torrington border.
Yeah, down,
Down to two?
no, Town Farm Road.
Yeah.
Down where your cousin used to live.
Take a ride. As
Take a ride.
Alright, no worries.
Old
All right.
House sale committee update, we have not met, but there has been a discussion with potential purchasers, so stay tuned, let's see where that goes. Yeah.
Will that be a public process or is that kind of happening behind the scenes?
I think there's at this point no need for it to be a public process because it's already approved. The sale is approved. It would just change the purchaser, but everything else, in essence, at this point, would stay the same.
And I'm assuming they would come to this commission for a change of use. Well, it wouldn't be a municipal building anymore.
But they will come for a change of use.
Got
I
it.
think it's important to the pricing of change.
That's the key.
Or to go down.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Down single, I could see somebody pushing it down.
Yeah. No, they won't, at this point, status quo on price.
Got it.
Dark Skies implementation letter, as we discussed. Last meeting, Brunel was gonna put together
Does everyone
just
have
a
a copy of
standard
this?
form for recommendations. It started out at the daycare and VH Kellogg. Daycare's on timers, it got a little wonky, but I think it's back to being corrected. I haven't been staying out late enough to really know this, but I think it's back to working.
I think so.
We've inherited the Eversource site down by the high school. That has better lighting than the football field. 'Cause
It has
the
been
football
on.
field has no
It
light,
has been on.
but it is on a timer, and it seemed anyway when it was on.
Yeah,
So it wasn't on around the clock.
What about the one right here?
Eversource?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That is really
that's for discussion as well. They have, to their credit, and this is going back a few years now. They have modified it and they did lower the intensity of it, but we still know that,
is that for security reasons?
yeah. Yeah. There's incredible amount of money sitting there in wire,
I see.
and it has been
But
removed.
that's what I wondered, is if they've had a problem with
Yeah,
it.
yeah. We're going back in some time, but
Yeah.
definitely, because
Run some electricity through.
I had a problem at
Take it.
the same point.
quick zap.
Right there.
It happened recently.
Oh, did they really? They lost some more?
Right, gee.
Yeah, but it's more of a, ever since 9/11, utility companies fell under that national security thing where they were,
Oh, that makes sense.
because they may be
Mhm.
targeted. So that's
Mhm.
why they're under high security lighting.
And
That's
it's a
just
video
been
camera.
shooting at the light.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have
Yeah,
lights.
so if that lighting is this bright there, I mean, do they have cameras set up? Is there other stuff set up? So what do you
Yeah.
need such bright lighting for?
You don't. There's a
can
lot
see
of
your-
studies around security that it's actually more prudent if you don't have lights and then you have motion sensors, because the change, if there's a motion sensor, it causes you to actually leave. If it's just the steady brightness.
Yeah.
it
Or to
doesn't.
notice something's going on over there.
Mhm.
It
So
could be a deer.
the letter, if you've all had a chance to read it, did go out with the packet. It's just the template letter that I imagine this commission would need to bless in order for the various recipients that have been discussed to receive it. It's friendly.
It's explained, you explain it very well. I like the fact
Yeah.
that you put in reasons why. I think it's great. The third paragraph is fantastic.
Thanks, Stephen. It sounds like the recipients would be the two Eversource sites,
The school,
Leachville.
please go.
It's hard to quantify the amount of light.
When do I
Not
get
like you're
mine?
out there with the light meter saying this is too bright.
Yeah, but when you.
She has yours here in person.
It almost looks like the moon's over
Yeah,
there.
there's a glow. I mean, I know it's offensive.
Yeah.
Just don't know where, if
That's why
they,
you don't need to get into the
Right.
weeds with lumens. You just need pursuant to our regulations.
Right.
We didn't go there. We just went into the general realm of we all have our sensory perception
right?
to discern this is a little bit beyond the norm of something that we're comfortable with because of that glare, because of that moment. So we don't actually get into the lumens because none of us will be. Light meters are super technical. You actually would need to go under a sheet with the light
I've been
to get
playing
a
with light
proper
meters for.
reading,
yes,
which I don't see myself doing,
Matt.
hopefully.
Or it's just about someone else that you can do it together, man, get that.
If you see
Well,
two people in sheets.
I don't even know
it's
what.
similar.
But
Steven?
no, if they've adjusted it and said we brought it down a little bit, is that in keeping?
It's a start.
Yeah, it's a start.
Yeah.
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 Did
I
we
want that.
want to include the South Canaan Meeting House
Great.
on that list?
Yeah.
It's not town owned, but it is town represented, so,
Yes, thank you.
okay, thank
Great
you.
point. Another one that I noticed on my drive here was First Light down at near the river, which is a sensitive area for habitat.
I hadn't noticed it, sure.
I just did today.
Yeah, I really don't go that way at night.
Okay.
Where was it?
Which place?
Then
Power plant.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that has been, but I think it's because of that new. Whatever they,
They're
Built out,
protecting
yeah.
their work.
I didn't know if that was for the construction,
Maybe.
right?
Oh, so just.
Somewhere it had gotten brighter.
Constructing.
I think so.
Could be.
They were also get to with copper.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Geez.
Yeah.
How is that? I haven't heard
So maybe
anything
that's
about
why
it.
they've been leaving the lights. Yeah.
Maybe that's why they're brighter, yeah.
We're thinking on guard.
Well, we had the dog park down there, you have the dog
Oh, I
down there
know, right?
protecting you.
Perfect. So what I'd like to do is take a motion for us to approve this blanket form, and then we can adjust over time, but with this body of verbiage.
I make a motion to approve the letter written by Janelle, and it's fantastic. It's exactly a nudge,
Mhm.
which is nice.
Is there a second on the nudge?
I'll second the nudge.
Any discussion? All in favor?
I,
So moved. Thank you all.
Chairman, just a
Yeah.
question for clarification, between this meeting and next meeting, my understanding is that that's a nod to be able to send those letters out.
Yeah.
Okay, just didn't wanna
And,
jump
and
the
from
gun.
here forward
Perfect,
on this
okay,
platform or platform can't really right word, what would you call it, template?
perfect.
All right, so that was our guys, and now we have item E, IHC discussion. Don't know where we can go tonight, but do you wanna, do you wanna kind of like summarize where we came from? Or where we ended up
Yeah, well,
from the best of your recollection? I mean, I have mine. Stephen, you listened to the meeting, you know.
well, we were talking about, Denise brought it up earlier, just the fact that you keep hearing 16 units, but all of the original processing of this application as 14 is the number. 16, 14, it's not a major change. We could waive that and make it 16. It isn't that so much. If you go through our regs, the IHC in our, well, it's a broad and it's good, but it's broad, sort of an umbrella that covers the concept and how we want to deal with it as they come along. Nowhere in there is there any talk or text of, do we cap out units at a certain level? So last discussion, we were talking about that. How do we do that? How do we cap it to be safe? And, you know, to your point, Vince, it's not a major deal if all of a sudden somebody wanted to come in, but we should at least know in advance so we have some knowledge of where this one project will go. So what we're looking at today is really the IHZ zone, the only IHZ zone we have. And then do we need to amend the text to at least discuss or bring up the cap on that? So if we're looking at, 14 units, which is 7 buildings, if there's 2 per type of thing, it all works and fits in that way. But if you don't designate some sort of limit or cap to it, which I think that should be the 14, then it really does open it up for future development. And it won't happen. I'm not feeling like that's what this one's all about. But within our text and within our purview, I think we need to be prepared for the next or the 2 or 3 coming in terms of how do we cap out maximum growth type of thing. So I don't know how. I'm trying to figure out where we would do it. Since our rig is really a broad generalized version, I'm not sure we can amend that text to accommodate this particular project. So I'm not sure where we go with it. Is it a restriction? Do we add it as a condition? If everybody's agreeable and we decide that should be the number to cap it out, how do we do that?
Yeah, I mean, thank you. And, my question all along has been, being back when we developed this. We always looked at it, and Stephen, we always looked at it as one 80-acre parcel, one project. Never did it cross our minds, to the best of my recollection at that point, that it would be subdivided and then somebody would want to come in and add onto that.
This
That I
was
know.
incentivized for a developer. It gave them some tax breaks and some ability to do different things on the land. And the balance of, if you put some nice homes that help the tax base, it gives you tax credits if you build these homes. Fred was trying to bring a developer sort of in that New Britain style, or someone who would come in from that vein of the state and build something with state incentivized abilities. So I think that was the original idea. So there was no idea to need to cap it because there wasn't going to be enough space. It was going to be a guy who probably wanted some kind of tax break who was going to build some townhomes at the bottom of the hill.
Right.
So that was always our idea. But Jocelyn did say in the last meeting that you guys had that we can put any regulation on the IHZ. And I do think that it is the whole property regardless. And I think it is in our best interest to say something because I don't want Habitat to go so far down the lane and then miss what they want to do because they've given that opportunity to the Falls Village Housing Trust. So
I think that ship sailed.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
But
I mean,
yes and no. Has there been actual money exchange? We're still in this state of.
I signed a Mylar, right?
Correct.
I signed a
The-
Mylar,
the-
so.
Oh, okay.
Well, the
I just-
regulations, just sorry to interject,
No, no.
but the regulations have yet to be changed. So in the event that this commission petitions to change the regulations, it would be required that there would be a public hearing. I would certainly notice Habitat, just letting them know, because the IHC is very site specific, that there is going to be a review of the text within the IHZ because of reference to this original application. Invite them to the hearing, they can be heard, they can refute their position, nothing has been set in stone. It would all fall in the event that you were looking to amend your regulation to cap the number of dwellings in accordance with the original application.
I think
I look at it and I see the difference of the 14 or 16. I think that we should point out the issue that it was stated it would be 14, but allow for the 16. So they're gonna have to raise all this money and they're gonna have to raise more money to make the 16. And I think that they're on their way. But after you look at that I think you were on the Zoom.
Oh, yeah,
on that.
yeah.
I mean, you're talking 3-5 years. This is not gonna happen next year. So I mean, to put in that property where it was originally set up, if it was 14 and it went to 16, I think we should allow that. But acknowledge that change. And then this other issue that's just recently come up for Habitat, they don't even know what they're doing yet. If I listened properly at that meeting, I mean, it's all up for discussion. They don't know how it's gonna work.
They did bring some preliminary drawings for us.
It's
Yeah,
all preliminary though, and there's no, let's
Very
be clear,
preliminary.
there's no application.
And they took 10 years.
Janelle, I have a random question more. If
Love
we,
random questions.
if we allow it as 14,
Mm.
can they come back then to get an exception for 16? Or is it in our best interest to say, hey, we're working with you
Yeah,
and we're limited to 16? Because in the spirit of it, I almost feel like we have to go for the 14 because that's what the town approved, and then work with them for the 16.
It's a great question.
I'm nervous of which we can or can't do.
So,
Well, and knowing the number 16, in my opinion, we could, if this is a direction that we want to change to, we could approve 14 with the possibility of an exception of 2 more
So-
units.
So that's what I'm nervous about doing it that way.
why?
the regulations, if you're gonna cap the density,
Might just make it 16 and
have
be
a
done. right?
number.
I think that's, it's.
There's no-
It's a
there's-
secondary issue if you're gonna talk about cap.
So that's why I was
Yeah,
wondering
and
how we want
there
it.
isn't a provision, so the only provision in the regulations legally, in accordance with statute, there are waivers for subdivisions. This is not a subdivision, so you're working within your IHC zone. So if you're going to the length of amending your regulations to be in line with an application, I would do it. And if in the spirit of keeping with, and this is the hard decision making that you are all faced with, you're going to have to make that hard decision. Are we keeping in with the spirit of the application that originally said no more than 14, 27 bedrooms? Or are we keeping with the proposal? And in keeping with a past site plan approval that the commission has vetted and approved. So that's going to be your hard decision making as a commission if you do go the route of amending your
I think
regulation.
there's a couple of things. Going 14, 16 is a secondary minor issue to me. I don't have a problem with it. As long as it fits into the water, the septic, everything that is needed for that improvement or whatever. But on the, I mean, this is what was, 14 was, this whole thing was presented to the town. We did all our due diligence. Everything went to the hearing, selectmen, everybody said, okay. I don't think it's fair to the town to just come back and change it to 16 or not cap it without another hearing at least. I mean, that falls on us and the integrity of this group, I think. If we presented it as it was, everybody's in agreement, let's go forward. And now, years later, of course, we're sort of kicking it around again. I don't think we can just go ahead and do it without another public notice about it.
We have to, if we're changing our regs, we have to have it as a town
May
meeting,
I,
right?
may I,
But I also think, I'm sorry, I also think this is just an example. This is new. We've laid out a very solid, in our book, our regs, very solid representation of IHZ as the state would say we should or need to or whatnot. And I think it's a pretty good one. This, unfortunately, isn't in there because it's an active application for an IHC zone. It's new to us. So I think this is just a key element that's missing. I think the cap portion, in some regard, I don't know what it would be, has to be worked into it somehow, and it's just coming to us. It's not an oversight 13 years ago, as much as today we're faced with the active application.
just to add to what you were saying, Doug, so oftentimes it's expected that regulations will change as reality becomes more apparent and as commissions change and as reality changes. There are some other considerations for improvements in your IHC zone. The administering agency piece that was referred to the Board of Selectmen about, if you remember, we had that discussion about the inadequacy of this commission to verify income and to take on that role. So it might be an opportunity for the commission to look holistically at the entire section. I do see some difficulties. There's a few things that mention conditions of the site plan approval, and sadly, there is no such thing as conditioning a site plan approval. You can condition a special exception, but by statute, you cannot condition a site plan. So there's some changes that I would request that the commission would tack on just to lead you to success when these projects do get built.
Right. So, I mean, I'm hearing straw poll wise that we're all kind of agreeing that some sort of change should happen for IHP. So does anybody feel strongly against that?
Just refresh my memory, there's 14 units or 7 duplexes?
They were all duplex unit, it's what's proposed by the Falls
Yeah.
Housing Trust, 8 duplexes is proposed.
Well,
So,
it's the units though that
that's-
they're actually.
So a unit, it would be 2 dwellings.
Maybe I have
Correct.
the wrong term, but it's for 16
Units,
Residences.
apartments, residences, whatever, your
20
address is your address. It's like-
27 bedrooms total.
Okay, and then was this all decided, was this change, the Habitat giving the housing trust their land just like recent, or has this always been in the work? Just recent, okay.
But here's
So the original IHZ zone is only for, well, 14
14
units
units,
on that
27
whole
bedrooms.
parcel.
since 2013 when you did this?
Correct.
So Housing Trust and Habitat have to split that 14 units, right?
It's not up to.
No,
Well,
On that whole
that
80 acres.
original agreement was this area there that Habitat is gonna get paid a fee or money for that,
Yeah,
and that was agreed to in the beginning.
Mhm.
And I don't remember if it was 14, 16, so, but I remember seeing the drawings and everything and look, and I feel like whatever we decide, it should be the simplest solution, because this has calmed down a little bit. And we don't need to create another whole issue around that particular, that area with their plan looked pretty good. If there's another 10 acres someplace that's going to become another zone on the other side of town areas, we can have this cap or whatever we call it there. I don't know if we have to get into that or not. Maybe you think it's important to legally, but
So this is very complex as it stands, is we've reached out to the state, we've passed you all the information and they really don't want to touch it at all. You know, with blanket statement, as long as it meets our blankety blank, then the rest is back on the planning and zoning to make this determination, which is what brings us to where we are again.
here's the dilemma that we have as a group. If we decide to cap this project, that then does put Habitat in a very precarious position. They just got bumped out of their own deal. That's up to them to deal with. I mean, our purview is to take care of town business, write the regs so that we protect the town from development that was unexpected or unplanned for, whatever. Some idiot comes through and he wants to just, literally start building. We need to protect the town and ourselves that way. But we put Habitat in that position if we decide to cap it. Everybody should know that. And I'm okay with that. That's not my business. It's not what I'm here to do. I'm trying to figure out what this. When you say we put Habitat, you're talking about that other plot of land that Habitat wants to develop. Right, but if we cap, it's Greg mentioned earlier,
It's the
it's
entire
one
zone.
property, it's the entire zone.
So they would be
It
able
is
to,
intended.
they
to
wouldn't be able-
be able to build.
Right.
There's no lot line of distinction yet. There may
Yeah,
be, there
so-
could be. Yeah, but it's one lot.
So now there's two lots on that property, or three, two.
Yeah, it's a long property.
Two
like this, and
lots,
this is-
however, hold on, there's two lots now. In 2013, it was one lot. The IAC still encompasses that whole initial lot, which is now
66 acres.
two.
So my question truly is, so it looks like the applicant, the answer to my question is very clear on the sheet, was the town of Canaan. I was going to ask if the applicant was someone else and that there would be potentially an option for Habitat or another entity in the future to go back to the state to reapply with an IHZ of the density that is not in line with this application. So going back to the foundational document, which is sort of the fact of the matter this evening, is this document that's been referenced from 2013, I think, with the town as the applicant. It looks like the COG did it on behalf of the town, but my curiosity would be in the future, could Habitat do this on behalf of the town in the event that the town and the residents of the town were in favor of what it is that they were doing? So the potential for a reapplication to the state for an IHC of the density, granted, based on what we have received back, was not very clear. And what and that's really left for this commission to
Yeah.
deal with. This
Yeah,
is,
it's a
yeah.
tough situation. Like I know, all I can tell you is that in 2013, being part of it, we never envisioned 10 more units being thrown on top. I agree. The secondary 14, 16, I don't think anybody's really gonna split hairs on that. We can deal with that. It's more about just more further development on that property. We already, like, and it's a decision we'll have to decide the 14, 16 when it comes time. We do know that this clearly says 14. And we're way early on this, but the only reason I'm kind of circling back on that a little bit is I think our next step forward if Janelle agrees with me, is maybe we do a proposed regulation change for, I don't know the timetable that you would,
Right.
like 1 month, 2 months.
It's relatively straightforward.
So we could do it for next meeting,
It's,
maybe.
yeah, I mean, the IHC is from page 39 in your regulations to page 46. So it's not that
And it,
dense.
they
And,
need work.
and I think the more important even than the max or the minimums is really the language of,
So
of that one, managing group. I think we gotta get that language right. That's to me almost
Biggest-
more important than numbers, because we're gonna have to do this again at some point. And I wanna make sure we have that language really square, because whoever's gonna come and want an IHZ or is gonna have to really understand that management has to be there.
And
Uh,
somewhere in our future,
Issue.
we could create another IHC zone within town limits.
Right.
So we don't wanna commit past oversights twice. So I agree, let's get that right, but we do have to sort of deal on this.
I'm a
And the
big proponent,
capping-
I'm a big proponent of the 1427. That I really feel that that is what the IHC is, was, and always meant to be. And I don't want to say this in the wrong way, but Jocelyn was so much a part of that document and that help and the whole IHZ that she knows. And that's why she said at her last meeting that we can cap it as we see fit, because she knows that it was written as she wrote it. So I think it's very important for us to try to stick to the original idea. I know that they want 16, but this is what, I guess, can you go to a town meeting and present 16 at a town meeting again, or?
Go to a town meeting if it's regulations.
Well, I would want to get public opinion in
Did
some
this go
way.
to a town meeting? This application?
No,
The hearing.
as far as I
Hearing.
remember, I think we had a hearing. I
Was
don't
it a
think,
planning and zoning hearing?
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember.
Oh, Mark.
what-
So unfortunately,
There's only minutes from a meeting. There is no minutes from a public hearing.
Got it.
if Habitat had originally proposed, we're going to build or develop, I mean, we could have worked out numbers back then.
They didn't propose any of that.
No, and it's relatively new. The first I heard was at the information meeting that we held, which is okay.
That was all left, nobody was gonna, because of the slope and everything else
Right.
on that other property.
Right, but what they didn't, I think, do, unfortunately, was take a step back and really look at the idea that we're talking about 13 acres, they're gonna sell 10, with the thought they would develop the 3. But from our perspective, it's one unit, that acreage, the 13 and a half, that we're going to, I believe, we should set a limit on.
Oh,
So they didn't think out far enough to cover their bases.
Well, I don't think we're limiting the 13 acres, Doug. I think we're limiting the entire 80. We're limiting the
It boils down
entire
to-
IHC property, or,
Yes, but
the zone, not individual lots within
Right.
that. So it would be the whole thing regardless.
it is, but it boils down to 13 and a half developable land.
Correct.
That's all. That's what I'm getting at.
So unfortunately, things are not always linear. So let's move this ahead 20 years and somebody has other property in town that is buildable. And let's say that it meets all the needs for IAC and the town needs another IAC or wants one. And let's say that it's 100 acres of buildable land for sake of this point. But if we change regulations to cap it to 14 units per zone,
Right.
Well, I
So
don't think
there's a lot of other-
capping it on this specific IHC,
Right.
not
in our
IHC
regulations,
as a
well, no,
whole.
but this, so that's a change in our IHC then, because this is an IHC zone regulation, it's not. It just so happens it's specific to this parcel because that's the only one. But if another one was created,
Right.
There's many new mechanisms for the creation of housing. I really look at the IHZ as being a bit old.
archaic, yeah.
There's many, as all of you have been listening to these affordable housing
So we
training.
could do cluster.
There's
we could-
so many different mechanisms to create housing, and it seems like this commission is actually getting ahead of the ball to be proactive with allowing for flexible housing formats. And bear in mind,
Not allowing for, if we,
you're subject to 830G. So if an applicant wants to come in with 100% affordable housing, you would have an 830G application before you, whether or not it's in the IHC. So that is never off the table, regardless of what your
and
regulations.
this new housing bill is getting much more restrictive on what municipalities can say no to. You're basically being told, let's get this done, and you can't deny for a lot of different reasons as they go forward, which will probably get worse. Is, it's not a bad thing, but that's just how it's taking place right now. If you went through the state bill review recently, everything I got when I walked away was, holy crap, they're just clamping down.
The
to make
barrier
it-
in your town will be septic and water.
Mhm.
There is not public sanitary systems,
Right.
and it does not make it attractive for any developer to come in to develop because of the public health code in our areas
Right.
that dictate our private septic and private
That's
water.
okay.
So that is a natural barrier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, can we amend or modify the restrictions section?
Which
Of
restrictions?
of
In
our,
IHC
yeah, the IHC,
being.
just trying to figure out where we could plug it in.
Well,
You
we
could
already have
mod-
a density.
Yeah, you would modify 4.4.
For just the density.
I would look at it comprehensively due to other clauses.
Yeah, we want to do other things, not just, it's in our best interest to do as much we can with this all at once.
We can,
Yeah.
So then we don't need a motion for you to do that, right? Do you want to?
Yeah, I do, because well,
So,
I do
I'll
not
accept
want to
the
be
motion
the enemy of the state.
To
For your
have
decision
Janelle work on a draft IHZ zone modification to our discussion points of this evening.
So moved.
Eileen, is there a second?
Second.
Stephen, any discussion?
Can I just ask the group, in terms of a cap? I mean, we've heard a few of you. What's your impressions? What's your opinions?
I'm 1427.
The specific one of that, I'm with Stephen.
and I feel
Mm.
on that specific one, we were dealing with what people think it is, the rest of it, well, I'm okay with this, with the, what's the next?
16.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's based on the drawings that I saw, the plans that I saw, it's not an offensive
No.
situation.
Mm-mm.
And I don't think we need to complicate it anymore, but we should acknowledge that issue that happened. And I don't know how it got missed that way over all these years, but maybe they have some answer to that. But I just don't think we should go back and now tell them they can't do that. Although it would make it less expensive for them in one way.
I mean, I'm torn, and that's why I was trying to think, I'm not against 16. I don't know how exactly, I'm just not clear exactly how we went from that 14 to 16. I think it's a number that's doable on that site, but I'll do it clearly. I mean, if it's easier, if we can't, I mean, because the defense of making a cap is, well, we have this application, right? And then to then say, well, but then two more. I'm talking on both sides of my mouth because it's a difficult one for me. Like, I'm totally okay with 16, but I don't know a good process to get to 16 from where it says 14.
that's what the application was for.
Well,
14, that's-
isn't it, we can
Just
make any
okay.
choice as a commission, so it can still say 14 on a piece of paper. But we as a commission, if we feel as a group that 16 is fine, we are allowed to say
She said-
16, or we're
No,
not.
it's in your regulations, absolutely not.
we can't make that our regulation, we can't make 16 part.
You certainly
can
have
make-
the discretion to make it your regulation when you're acting in the legislative capacity as the planning commission to amend your
Well,
regulation.
that's what I'm saying, we could
Yeah.
amend it and make it
If
16,
we-
and that's allowed.
If we did that,
If we decided as a group.
and what I'm saying is, we're, at that point, we're choosing because I'm sure that if I'm getting a straw poll sense of the table, nobody's really 16, 14. It's not earth shattering. Definitely don't want, I'm hearing 26.
Yeah,
I know.
But with that being said, I don't know,
That's what
I could be swayed either way to
That's what
14.
public hearings
16.
are for.
Yeah,
That's why I thought it was important to try to bring it to the public, to at least inform them of,
I feel like that's transparent too.
letting them know
will
what
we
we
go back
think.
as a commission and just
Trans-
amend?
In the
the
sense that-
Original,
hold on, Tim, what do you mean?
I came late to this, but I thought there was a public discussion about the 14 at some point, or brought to everybody's attention, so they all believe, they that went to the meetings,
Right.
that it was gonna be 14.
It was.
And when an application says 14, it should be 14. And if you're gonna change it, they should be aware of it too.
yeah, I don't remember the numbers, but I remember the drawings.
Sure.
And nothing looked offensive in the drawing.
Whether it's
And-
offensive or not,
And originally,
Not a number.
just going back to 2013, it started out, I believe, at 28 units.
Yeah.
And there was a big public pushback
Recount.
on that,
yeah,
and it came back and,
Much more around the
and
property.
to be on total transparency, I don't remember the exact chronological order, but 28 was.
28 was the 2020 deal when they were trying to build all those homes with the loop driveway and everything. That was the 28.
So it was after the
It was
14,
after, yes.
anyhow.
It was always 14 until they went to 28. And then the new deal went to 16, and that's where it all got.
So they
I
used-
when I started paying attention.
Why was it all?
Oh, right, because of COVID, yeah.
The COVID thing was all those homes, and it was like, wait a minute, that makes absolutely no sense for what you had talked.
So then they scaled back, but they scaled to 16 at that point?
Yeah.
And somehow we
Got missed.
lost track between 14. It was a hard time anyway.
Yeah.
I agree, I don't find it offensive to go to 16.
What
But
about-
I
I think
think
because it says 14, you should be at 14.
I don't mind. I don't mind if we go to 16. I think we should have some sort of public hearing, even if it's just part of one of
You
our
have to-
meetings.
You have to.
I think we have to have some informational.
It definitely one way or
Back
the
and
other, if
forth.
we're making any change,
Great.
even if we're not capping and we're just doing the administrating agency, it still goes to public hearing.
It makes sense to talk to the housing trust and maybe they're ready to go back to 14 and just have a discussion and this would be all in line.
I was going to suggest as a courtesy to invite those interested, such as the Habitat for
Yeah,
Humanity group
sure.
and the Housing Trust, to come to what I would call a workshop meeting for next month.
Yes,
Yeah, I think
To let them know that this is being discussed.
Habitat needs to know that this is in the
Yes, they
works,
do.
and I feel like
Yeah,
it's the right thing to do is to inform them, not just pretend.
no, totally. And that's, we
Feel the
developed
same way,
this
right?
relationship and.
I think the chair's purpose of also having this conversation before the lot line was to bring it to light. At the previous meeting that entailed that lot line revision, that was
Yeah,
my
it was- yeah,
assumption
No, it
of
was.
that
And
ordering.
it's a sticky line to walk, but I
Uh,
tried.
As a witness to that meeting and the discussions between Housing Trust and Habitat, I was under the assumption that Housing Trust had their units, they want 14 units, right?
16.
16 units, and then Habitat is gonna do their 4 to 6 units on there.
We were
So,
talking.
10, so I was assuming that was all together, not realizing that it's capped, it's only 14, so between Housing Trust and Habitat, they're
There's a
gonna
lot
have
of
to come
people
up
that
with a
didn't realize
different,
That's probably the
a
26,
difference.
if they talk 26 and then it went to
Habitat was never in
16.
the picture.
Yeah.
That was all-
it's
that was all-
something
That happened at the information meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, are you talking the information meeting? Or are you talking back in 2013?
No, he was just adding the two,
Pretty
the,
sure
the
Matt
10
was saying
units and
that.
the 16 is
Let's do some light
26.
math over here.
He
16.
said the same thing, that if you went
All my brain
yeah,
started going.
15 and 10, it's 26.
All day long, all day long.
Yeah, so that was, I didn't mean to.
That's why we got
Yeah.
the young kids on the committee. They can get back in their heads.
To see Michelle in the,
But no, I mean, yeah, it would have
She has
been the
16 listed.
2013 or whatever. I
These are
wasn't here
potential
for it.
projects.
Oh, the pipeline?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I don't know where the number came from originally, but it's definitely being kicked around.
yeah. It's really interesting. This is actually one of, as a, working on behalf of this commission, this application was not part of the site plan approval discussion. It's really come up relatively recently, and looking at some of the feasibility study towards the end of everything that went into the housing plan and the test pits that showed this concept plan, which discussed the site's capacity. I think to include this application as rationale for any changes that you might make
Oh, I think we
and put
definitely
it on the
should.
public record might be really helpful.
Well, I think we're gonna put it as part of the public comment. It was handed
I'm
in
giving
to
that to
be,
Pat. so
it was
she
supposed to be
can
added,
make
yes.
a
Denise
copy.
asked for it to be
Perfect.
entered into our
And then
minutes.
we'll all have a digital copy,
Yeah.
so I hand that Pat.
So we have a motion on the floor. Is there any more discussion?
Digital. What was the motion
Yeah.
for? Instead of having to
Motion
add all that in.
for- Who made the motion?
Eileen and Steve seconded. What was
What was your motion?
I forget.
I think your motion was to.
Wait a minute.
Have Janelle.
Yes.
Do a draft update to the IHC zone regulations.
Mhm.
With administrative commission and the limit of unit. And to look at if there's anything else
And everything else.
in there that we would like to try to
Oh,
change
yes.
while we're doing any changes, please.
Happy to. And one request that I would just have is that the chair on behalf of the commission, rather than it coming from myself as an individual, reach out to Falls Village Housing Trust and Habitat for Humanity
Denied.
to let them know that this is under consideration. I'm happy to work on the draft of that,
Totally.
but I really think I always stand behind my work, but I am performing it on behalf of this commission. So
Totally.
I'm not authoring these
That is
things,
true.
that's just coming through you to
So
me.
what would the gist of it be?
Just, we want to let you know that we are
Having a work-
we are looking at the impetus for the IHC. We're reviewing the application from 2013 and we're looking at updating the regulations pursuant to that original.
Okay, so we're in the process of them renewing the application, basically. Where are we right now? Steps
There
toward
was a site
completion.
plan that was somewhat recently renewed. I'd have to look at the exact date because time has been ticking
Yeah, a
by.
year or 2 year.
A year.
Site plans expire. But it has been relatively recently, but there's no active permit. It's more of like this site plan has been. We did that somewhat recently. We could pull those
Yeah.
minutes and look. But it was to authorize the 6-year.
Well, it's just a question, I guess, should we pause the process? I mean, it ends up being expensive if people are moving down the road and at some point it may change dramatically, like habitat.
What
It's-
process would we be pausing?
Well, just stopping the application going further at this point,
There's no.
Yeah, there's no
There's no
mechanism.
process.
it's not even that at this
Yeah.
point.
The site, like, so basically the site plan was approved, we put it to hearing as a very transparent decision based upon needing the renewal. And I could look at the regs to see why that decision was made. And then it was approved. So there's really no process to
So it's
time
everything
out.
from the past, basically just being.
Correct.
The
And
subsequent piece for them to then take on would be an active zoning permit, which has not been issued.
Okay.
So I have not received any sort of permit for the actual construction of that
yeah,
site.
but going back to their presentation, and this is just what I heard was, they needed this transfer to take place, which must have happened because they filed the official Mylar as approved by this commission.
Yeah.
In order to move ahead with their funding and then,
Right. Well, that's the other piece of it. That sort of all weighs on how we move this thing along too. Because the finances are still pretty shaky, I think. But I think the letter you're gonna draft would be very appropriate. I think it'd be a good one.
What would be our timing if we're asking Janelle to get us these materials and come up with something that pushes us to our March meeting to go over it and make any decisions, which then pushes a public hearing to April?
unless we want to do a quicker special meeting, I think April is plenty of time for all agencies. There's nothing active, so I feel a 2 month timetable is.
I won't be at the
appropriate.
April meeting.
Agreed, me neither. Sorry,
What?
I do once a year. Wait,
So that was gonna be my question is, do we want to
I think.
do something to have this move maybe a little quicker? Do we want to maybe have just a special meeting to talk about what materials we're asking for, take a half an hour, 40 minutes, whatever that would be to go over that material? And then in our March meeting, we could have a public hearing?
It'd have to be pretty quick because we have vacation.
Yeah, it's a good point. So we have to do publications? For
Oh, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Well,
So
that's enough time for an end of March meeting.
Potentially,
So
yeah.
we could announce the March meeting and still have our meeting to do the work beforehand.
And
Yeah.
I do want both of you here. However, I think it's important that there's gonna be, I don't know if it's important. I was gonna say like these, let's call them out, Habitat and Housing Trust. They may wanna push back and need a certain amount of time. I don't wanna like push it. Does that make sense?
You don't wanna rush them?
I think I hear, I think
I
that's,
just don't know what they need to do,
Well, they're
but
two
you know,
separate entities.
sometimes 4 weeks is pretty darn quick for these groups with voluntary boards to meet and come up with a plan and
What does their plan have to do with our plan?
well, we want their input. We're inviting them.
But we're still gonna change our regulations.
I'm not,
Well, I'm saying there's things in there we want to change, so aren't we going
the
to?
big one's capping, right? That's the big part.
No, I understand that part. I'm saying we're gonna make changes regardless, so why can't we just move forward with changes and pull them along as we're already needing to make
Yeah,
these
I mean,
changes?
I guess all I'm saying is I want to be fair and give them enough timetable for whatever it is.
So you
they
think May is
I don't know.
comfortable?
I guess I'm putting it.
Couldn't you have
what you
like a
guys
simple
think.
discussion with, if their proposal said 14 rather than 16, would any of this be happening now?
yes,
Yes,
yeah.
Yeah, because there's
Because
other
of
things in there that we
But yeah,
want to
right,
do.
because of Habitat, but the Housing Trust is a separate entity. And the Habitat could be talked to, and maybe they'll be happy that it's simpler or that it can be smaller, because
May I suggest possibly before the March meeting, the regularly scheduled meeting, to try to convene a special workshop meeting? So when I go to the drawing board to write, there's a little bit of guidance from, this commission has given me quite a bit of guidance this evening, but so we can garner that guidance that we're seeking from Habitat, or at least give them an opportunity to give their input around this discussion in advance of our regular meeting. So maybe the goal for our regular meeting in March would be to have a draft that then we would potentially set to public hearing. That would be the goal. And without a preliminary workshop meeting, I would see it hard to finalize a draft in one.
and I'm totally fine with that process. for
Yeah.
sure. I just, I don't wanna be too slow on the timeline, but I don't wanna be too fast on it.
Yeah. Agreed, yeah, absolutely.
And there's just unknowns, the way that I'm looking at it, and
It's true.
definitely would.
But I also don't mind doing this as a separate meeting, just because
Well,
these
it's a
meetings
little-
get a little, and we really should concentrate on this issue a little bit.
It could take some time, for sure.
I think the key of having input from those two parties is really important.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like we're trying to stop it again.
Right. And you're gonna give us a proposed workshop date?
I guess I'm doing that. Yes, yes.
Judy, you're taking your Vincent hammer with you?
Thank you for your many years of service. Frequently appreciate it.
You still get my car business.
Yeah.
Good night.
Thank you.
Hey, Judy.
There's no pressure.
March.
I still have a motion on the floor that we could vote on. Well,
Do
This
it?
is what
Oh, right,
we
we
don't do.
decided, yeah, oh, yeah, she's gonna do
what,
it, right?
what is the motion?
Having Janelle
It was
work on
like-
their IAC.
To-
Yeah, a draft
Oh,
of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
regulations.
We keep going to discussion, so are we
Aye.
on discussion? All in favor? Aye.
I,
Aye,
Look at that.
Kim's eye too.
So Chairman, at this point, my calendar offers 2 evenings of freedom that this commission could snap up if they are so lucky. Those dates are March 12th or March 24th. And I would prefer not for it to fall on the 24th.
So you should tell me.
so that,
So how's the
that'll be 2 days before our meeting,
What was the other one?
24th or to 12th.
And it's 2 days before other meetings, so it's sort of.
The same thing else.
Wednesday,
Both kind of the only
March
choice.
12th, at what time fits your
So,
schedule?
in the nature of also not rushing it, my other suggestion would be to have a working draft for our next meeting on the 26th. Invite, we're not flush with business. We have not, I don't foresee a subdivision, I don't foresee a lot line modification. But to have a draft to invite everyone, to give them a month advance notice, and then potentially in consideration of my absence and Stephen's absence, following up with a special meeting in April, if we need to keep that moving.
I've got like
Just-
6 days in April that I'm here,
Got it.
so I can give you the 6 days I'm available.
My schedule's grim like that too.
Gone otherwise.
Yeah, I'm not gone, but just
Yeah,
occupied, sadly.
So what I'm hearing is no special meeting until we'll set it at our next, or you can set it when
I think
you and Steven.
the sense of urgency too, like all of a sudden being like, we're gonna talk about the IHZ and this is a big emergency meeting. It's also, if I was on the receiving end of that,
Right.
that would be tricky where it's like, we're gonna talk about this on this one limited date that you may or may not be available, surprise. Versus we're keeping in the cadence of our regular meeting. We're gonna have this draft for you. I would be more than willing to send out the draft in advance of our meeting so they can digest
sure.
it. And then we can have a really productive discussion
Okay,
at the end of March and decide sort of the best path forward.
That makes sense.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Rather than,
Yeah.
okay,
all right.
great.
P O C D implementation subcommittee update.
I'm sorry, did we set that for March 12th?
No.
No.
No, it
No,
wasn't.
we're
set.
gonna do it all on the regular.
We're gonna,
But we are gonna
Regular meeting.
invite
You got the night off.
those entities to our
Yes.
next meeting.
Correct.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Yeah. Great idea.
I won't be here at that meeting.
Whoa,
Now.
come on,
March?
Correct, I won't be here. March
we go with you
26th.
then.
The more, the merrier.
It's no problem.
than a PNZ meeting.
Wow.
You
Nice
can
job.
zoom in, what do you?
There's
Oh
snow
my
up to my
gosh,
thigh.
my favorite-
They're zooming on the beach.
Yeah.
Trees,
This is.
You had to go to the meeting.
Have internet.
You had to go-
Yeah.
That's right.
So.
All right.
No, it's up to me too.
I shut the internet off at 9.
Shut it off. It's conflict.
We lost the hammer. The subcommittee update.
Only one thing, we sent that letter out to all the boards, commissions. Reiterating again that we're here to help, and this is what we're trying to do, and we're pushing the P O C D implementation, We'd love to come to your meetings, please invite us, yada, yada, yada.
Overwhelming response.
Oh, yeah, nothing, crickets. Stephen wrote the letter, it was very well written, and I added a little to it and then sent it out. I would ask selectmen, of course, you're the only one here now, to help us with a little nudges to these commissions and boards.
Including your beer.
Yeah,
Something we can,
Respond.
I think, with our budget talks coming up, will be an opportune time to,
well, if you'd like, I'd be happy to come and sit in on those meetings or a meeting and just,
They're all day meetings, so
Say
they
it all
don't have
over
at night.
well,
I put through that too.
I could be here. 7:30 on a Monday,
I give me a little political jabs in.
whatever, if you'd like me to come do that, I'd be happy to, or one of us can if I can. Anyway. Nobody's responding, we're not getting a lot of, which one?
Emails,
The letter
snail mail or emails?
I emailed it to everybody.
Oh, maybe they haven't checked their junk folder.
We could print it and put them in all the mailboxes.
There you go.
I would do that.
Maybe that's a way to change the.
When you-
info.
I can knock on doors and say you've been served.
Tested.
Okay.
It went out this past year.
Yeah, within the week, I don't know exactly. Can't copy
Yeah,
the.
it was
You did,
Monday or
you
two.
did. Yeah. It was the day you were meant to die.
Alright, anything further to add to that? Thank you, guys. Kingsley monthly financial report from the town treasurer, we have that. We did put our proposed budget into the Board of Selectmen. Talk to the town treasurer, we are short on our mileage line. So we had talked about adjusting it up another $250 for a total of $450 for the year for mileage. And taking our miscellaneous down by that 250, so we'll still have a zero line. And that was Michelle, but that would work out well. So the mileage charge has doubled in the last, I say number of years, it's been too many years, but it's a lot, so the 200 isn't enough anymore. So we need to adjust that line.
Hey, we better spend that attorney money before we lose it
Yeah,
again.
but
Does anybody need like a DWI representative?
there's still time.
At the last meeting, you guys discussed miscellaneous as part of the coverage for the GIS.
Yeah.
If we're gonna take 250 out of that,
And we think GIS is 750.
we're okay with that? Okay. That was gonna be my thing.
Yes, send that out again.
So it's just kind of informational. I wasn't really looking to, I don't think we need to vote on that because it's still zero change, but just wanted to bring some.
And Janelle seems okay with getting everything done and the money that she had.
Yeah, everything's looking on track.
Right.
So that's the financial report. Oh, I'm sorry, that 250 is item C, budget fiscal year.
Yeah.
It's just that minor change. So still a zero change in the bottom line. Regulations review, village business zone expansion. So we have. What many papers in order?
There's a memo, draft.
Go visit the say POC implementation regulation review.
Oh, that
Village
one's on.
Zone
that one
expansion memo.
print out for me.
Am I missing something?
It's the town of Fall Village, Canaan, it's like 14 pages with a bunch of addresses in the middle of it.
Oh, I
Says
know, I
Town
had.
of Canaan
Okay,
You got it in
Zoning
third color.
Commission.
I had it
It's a memo.
Well, I don't know how somehow the setting got put on both sides and I hate that. I hate it. So that's the one with all the addresses, got it?
Yes.
Or it could be some wait, one of those it's old enough at that.
Small ones, you're too good thing.
Janelle.
Yeah.
I have a question about the village business zones with the change that we're looking to do with the non-subdiv. Need cluster or not cluster, the large property, multiple dwellings on one property had to be subdividable. But in our normal, in our regs, but if we're gonna try to do the village business zone, we would like to try to take that out.
Yeah.
So my question is if that is not in there and someone has four dwellings that isn't subdividable and the next round of ownership takes place, how is that affected or changed if we can't subdivide it? Does it become a pre-existing non-conforming lot?
No, so it would be an allowable use. So the concept of cluster housing allows multiple units on a single lot.
Right.
And the purpose, so in your residential compound regulations, the fact that you still need to prove that you can subdivide the land takes away from the whole concept. The whole concept of cluster housing
Right.
is have housing relatively close together. That would be up to the developer for the purposes of having a community and leaving open space and keeping resources and having a community space. So by requiring that there needs to be a subdivision defeats the whole purpose.
Right. So
So in the event that it's a permissible use, it would just be an allowable use that can exist. And it would exist into the future unless those regulations were to change.
and
to
so
make it-
ownership is still represented in the normal way of any property would be,
Use runs with the land. So as property changes hands.
and mortgages and all that are not affected, everything stays all the same. Got it. Okay.
That's the user of the land is the least important thing with planning and zoning decisions.
Got it.
It's
Great.
just the use of the land.
That-
Great question.
That was my only question. Great.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's great I think that's exactly the housing issue that they're trying to go for. I think that's the importance of the village business zone and to try to create the ability to have people have more than one dwelling on a property with sidewalks and within a community and close to the school and all of those things. I think that that's something we have to look at as part of this reg change. And then my other last question, Janelle, is with the light industrial zone being absorbed, how does light industrial uses get transferred into the other zone that becomes the entire village business zone?
Great question. I'm glad you asked that. So, and I think this was discussed, you were absent last time.
I tried to pay attention to the
Yeah,
meeting and I
so
couldn't get it.
Those uses, rather than get away with them, because there are so limited,
Sure.
we incorporated them. So you'll see within by special permit, small scale manufacturing, including the product processing, packaging, assembly of goods, including food, beverage manufacturer or product manufacturer, that has been absorbed into this overarching
So
zone.
my question is that then that could move up Main Street that way or move up Railroad Street this way from that zone that was created up there. Okay,
Yeah,
perfect,
yeah. And
great.
it helps because if you look at that zoning map that's
Oh,
hitting.
no, I was looking at what the map that we have on here
Yeah.
is perfect. That's why I was just making sure that we're changing some zones, but those zones, we're putting stuff that wasn't in there before in there, and I want to make sure that we are aware that some light industrial stuff could happen on Main Street because we are changing the regs.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
great point, and you'll see when you look at the map, it's now just like a
No, it's great.
contiguous zone where there's a little bit more flexibility of uses in keeping with what the P O C D is saying about concentrating that activity hub in the center of your town and then expecting the rural areas, your farmland and your larger estate lots to be outside of your village center, in keeping with also the historic nature that Falls Village once was.
No, I think it's great. And I think that we finally have the GIS, and we could actually finally do this. We've been wanting to do this for so so long.
Marwin's been phenomenal. to
Yeah,
work with.
it's
He really
amazing.
is.
This is gonna be great addition to the community.
Next up.
The next step, if this commission wants to move forward, the question is truly, do you want a letter to go out to all the affected property owners? The list is here. I can easily, now that we have GIS, verify that I have all of those property owners. This would be, as you know, a mailing cost. And I can certainly develop that language, because I wouldn't have it be this memo. This memo is for you guys because you're used to what I send out, but I would very much draft a letter that then I would like this commission to bless, that basically says, we want to inform you, you're in this zone, this would be the change. Potentially include the map, include all the uses, but I'd be happy to draft that letter.
So I suggest that we make a motion to have Janelle draft that letter. Not saying that I wanna get this in front of the town in April. We have some other work to do first, but that we have another piece ready to go. So when we decide maybe July, August, I think that suits us.
Can we make sure we write the letter and get it sent sooner? I think the more notice that we give that we're even discussing this is important.
And-
Rather
and-
than waiting to say we're gonna have a public hearing in June. Or is that just too many mailings? Is that what we're
I
trying
feel
to
like
avoid?
too many, like people are gonna get lost because
Okay,
I'd rather kind of do it, whether and we could roll it over 3 months if that's what it takes to give the public plenty of time. But I think it ought to be like continuous instead of saying, well, we're gonna talk about
okay,
this.
no, that's fine. I just wanna make sure we're giving them as much notice as we can that we're even having these
You know,
discussions.
so maybe we could start thinking about, maybe releasing it in April, meeting in May, June, and we'll have some sort of action or something along those lines.
Totally fine.
2-3 month process. I would think at the least, because
Yeah, at least that.
I would expect there to be quite a few questions. You never know, but I would expect there to be.
And we might have input that we might wanna make a change to, so I think we're gonna need at least 3 meetings for sure, or 3 months to do it all.
But I think doing the letter now would be more than appropriate for you.
May I
And
suggest,
do you want to push it off a little bit?
no, happy to do it. And what I would suggest is when we send the letter out, to have a lag time of official correspondence, and also saying, if you're interested in learning more, please come to the next meeting, and then also making sure that we have the date of the hearing, so that it's not just like, hey, this may happen. It's like, we are considering this. Please send us official correspondence or come to a meeting. The hearing will be,
Yeah.
so that it's sort of that
Yeah.
natural progression lead up. And it doesn't have to be a letter that goes out in March with the hearing in April. It could be a letter that goes out in April with the hearing in June. So that there's a comfortable amount of time for official correspondence, for further questions, and then, of course, for the public hearing. But happy to have that for the end of March.
So a motion for Janelle to draft that letter.
Yeah, make a motion.
Steven, is there a second?
Second.
Richard, he's really in a role tonight.
He's got to get them all in.
Okay. Any discussion?
It's gonna be all over those minutes.
All in favor?
I,
Can I just ask one just map question? This side,
Right.
this color right there,
Mhm.
is that part of the village business zone that's across the street?
I think this is like an eye exam color question.
Cause I was trying to find that on
That
the,
might be Hamilton.
Yeah,
that's Hamilton,
that's
yeah.
Hamilton, and that is weirdly, we have a very sneaky spot zone.
that's what I
It's
thought.
called rural business that I would love to tackle, but not at this time.
Got it. Okay. Just what didn't, it stayed the same color, so I was like, wait a minute, why aren't we putting this in the village business?
Yeah, it's not, but we should at some point look at our rural business zone and look at where it falls on the map, because it's literally just
A block away.
here, here,
Yeah,
here, and here. It's spot zoning.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
We encourage that. Next.
we do, definitely. Work is good.
I figure out the place that's where I confuse myself.
I mean, sure.
Moving on to housing priorities. Janelle, do you have anything?
So the homework that I sent to everyone, if you read to the end of my email, I don't blame you if you didn't. Sometimes they get lengthy. was asked, I asked the question to really focus on that analysis and recommendation of what we could do to address housing with respects to POCD implementation. And my question for everyone in the group is these action steps that that I am recommending, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which I may have misnumbered. Yikes.
No, it's not.
I-
1, 2, 3, 5.
I skipped a 4.
No, there's 4. Oh, I see.
I skipped a 4.
Yeah.
Oh, you have action.
You
step
said
4,
action
but you
step
call it
4, but
5.
you numbered it.
Yeah, bad. This is really not
No,
okay.
it's okay.
So if you want to embarrass me for my numbering, but also let me know which number you think I should start to focus on.
Yeah, we got it.
Number 5.
Please, yeah, please don't tell me you want to focus on number 6. But that's what I want to hear. I want to hear from all of you this evening so that we can have a little bit more direction when it comes to addressing
I
housing.
don't want any of the deed restrictions.
You don't want deed restrictions, okay?
I think that the deed restrictions as affordable. I think we're gonna get a little nervous if we're trying to get someone to make a development or to change a house or to put in up 2 apartments in. Or
The analysis
yeah,
recommendation.
so there's the action 1 and action
Yep.
2.
Okay.
And I'm nervous about that language. I don't wanna, it'd be great if they would put an affordable housing unit in, but I don't wanna restrict development of a large home into 3 apartments and them not develop it because we have a deed restriction.
Yeah, so it looks like action 2, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the only one that suggests that they're deed restricted as affordable. Action 1 is more about allowing multifamily housing in the village center.
Nope, I like that.
Which
Great.
I believe is actually going to be incorporated by your village business residential zone. So we're already achieving action step 1 by the work that we just looked at. So it will allow for multifamily by special permit. So there's action 1. We can kind of cross that off the list.
Is that like my to-do list that I put something I did so I can cross it out?
It feels so good. Yeah, and then
That's why she numbered them all, because that one wasn't even count.
And then it looks like, so going back to your earlier question, Stephen, it looks like revisiting your residential compound provisions is also a suggestion.
So I haven't gotten there yet. I was going to number 2 first, and then I'll go to the second page.
So it
Yes.
sounds like what's up for grabs is your residential compounds, your accessory dwelling units, AKA accessory apartments. And then finally, if you want to go into the realm of regulating short-term rentals.
Short-term rentals meaning Airbnb.
Yes, yes.
We don't want to touch. We don't want to touch. But I do think that the residential compounds, we have to be careful with the subdividable factor within that, because that has to come out of our regs if we're gonna add that to the village business. So, but my question to you, Janelle, is if it's in the residential agricultural zone, can we still require they can be different, right? Yeah, so
absolutely.
I want to keep the subdividable in the rural agricultural zone. That's why all mine are separate lots anyways. I never put it all together because of that.
Yeah.
So I'd like to do it in the village business zone. I don't want to change it in the residential agricultural zone.
Great, and I think just in keeping with the 2 different terms, so residential compound being that subdividable, larger lot, family compound type of situation versus
Keeping that language,
cluster
yeah.
housing.
Okay.
And
Mhm.
cluster housing being, it looks like our last memo has achieved a lot of what we're looking at on this memo. Cluster housing being allowable in your village center.
Totally.
So we're sort of achieving action 3 there.
Got it.
Because action 3 is modify zoning regs that allow for co-housing, cooperative housing, cluster housing, as well as opportunities for small houses.
Great.
So at this time, are we chewing on enough when it comes to housing with the village business residential zone? Or is there one other piece that we should pick off? And it looks like the one that's up for grabs is accessory dwelling units and not Airbnbs based on what I'm hearing from this commission. Okay. Happy
I
to.
love Airbnbs.
Yeah, they're great.
They're great.
They're so great.
Just booked one in Chicago. Beautiful. Why not?
So my suggestion is just simply to make accessory apartment permitting easier. Right now, there's some arbitrary numbers in there with 1,000 square feet. If it's greater than, you have to go through the special permit process. And I've always really been like, why? Like, if it's bigger, do we have to do that? That's always been my question.
So if it's a 2,000 square foot apartment, you don't wanna,
I would like, why not just have it be a zoning permit?
same thing?
Unless you guys want to have everything go to a hearing and that's completely up to you.
I think your idea is better.
I'm nervous if it gets too big though. But I guess if it's an accessory, it can't go bigger than, isn't it all proportioned
limited by
to the
accessory
size of the original
percentage.
structure? So, yeah, no,
Yeah.
no special permit, yeah.
Yeah.
that's-
You can certainly discern if you say not to exceed 75% of the square footage of the residential dwelling for fear of having basically two single family homes.
That's what I was, that's what I was trying to make. There's a line where that could teeter, and that's what I was sort of nervous about.
And where you might want to leave an exception, it's if it's a pre-existing building, so some people look at barn conversions. And you may just say like, okay, certainly you can do a barn conversion, but rather than do the, max square footage to make sure it's in keeping with the spirit of the regulations. So as long as the square footage of the livable unit does not exceed, I'm just throwing out 75% of your original dwelling unit, so that you're not getting this confusion around what's your secondary dwelling and what's your primary.
That's what I was nervous about, if we needed to stop at any point. No, then that's fine. Building permit sounds great for that then.
And that doesn't mean anything to us as far as like the tax department, right? They'll figure, that's on them to figure out. Like, we're not creating, but we're not inadvertently creating something weird for them.
No, the assessor would go in and assess the unit as.
Yeah, that's the word I cannot come up with.
Yeah.
It's assessing.
Yes,
That-
so they would do, they would assess the value of it regardless, so no. I think
Yeah,
that
I
affects-
just didn't want to inadvertently created.
Yeah, I don't think that affects anything. But can we put some language that it does something to do with percentages so that we are not necessarily dividing a house in half and getting a two-family home out of something without going to special permit? 'Cause
Yeah.
that makes me a little more, we should oversee a split like that.
You got it.
Is that okay with everybody else?
Love it.
Oops,
Yeah, so
that's all. That's all I got from this. Thank you. Your action steps, the way you put this together makes it so easy. And if you read it through, I want to make changes, and then your action steps are those changes. Thank you. It's so perfect.
yeah,
It makes it so easy to understand.
Awesome.
Thanks for having yourself.
Okay. Happy to do it.
Item C, historic stone company update.
Well, I shared with everyone the report. So as you know, I've been authorized thanks to this group to be attending various meetings of the Historic District Study Committee. I did author this report. I did spend a lot of time in the village center with my very sweet mother, taking pictures and following the walking tour that the historic district has. To create this whole report to help them cross the finish line of establishing a local historic district. At this time, I really feel like the limits of my skill has been thrust upon them, and them getting it over the finish line is going
It's
to
up to
be
them.
up to them.
Yes.
So as much as I enjoy history and preparing this report, there's been multiple meetings that have pretty much gone on since this report was prepared in 2023 that I've spent time at, but the material is essentially there. I'm happy to use this as a working document or make tweaks and other changes. But I really have expended myself when it comes to supporting that group and getting them the product essentially that they need to establish a local historic district. So respectfully, that's kind of where I'm at. And I did want to share the product with the commission so that you're aware of why and where, like that build time, how that was accounted for.
It's fantastic.
I appreciate that. We will see where it goes. And if that local historic district does get established.
But I think it was very important for us to share you and your knowledge, because this is also a planning issue in a way too. So I'm glad that you were involved with this, because it sort of falls under our purview in ways too. So
Absolutely. And the way that I represented it to Greg whenever I was doing the work is this is a part of the POCD implementation. And there have been discussions at this level. I think Judy has come before this commission asking about the establishment of a local historic district, and the P and Z always being very much in favor and giving support wherever we possibly can. If we need to map it or write it in our reg, we're happy to do that. But as far as like getting the ballots and all of that, then it becomes more of a very local political issue. And that's where I reserve the right to just remain a consultant on behalf of the town and not get into the weeds of how people are voting on various topics, because it's not.
You've done a good job.
Thank
Your work there is complete.
we need to make a motion that she doesn't work for them anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I just wondered, we made the motion to have her be a part of it. I didn't know it.
Yeah, good point. Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
Okay.
we've made a lot of motions. If Patty's really enjoying it.
I'm loving
Feel
it.
feel free to make them. Yeah, feel free.
Oh, well, then I made a
It's got a
motion
few extra.
that Janelle has finished the historic study committee
deliverable.
deliverable,
Period.
and that she no longer needs to go to those meetings because we have the materials that we needed for our commission.
Eileen, second, any discussion on this? All in favor?
I didn't even, who?
Oh, I made the motion
Steve.
and Eileen second.
She's gonna run away.
Thank you for doing this.
And
It's
Eileen.
unbelievable.
Oh, thank.
And there's so much in there. It's great.
All in favor?
Aye.
In case we didn't vote, I don't know if we did or not. ZEO report. They're doing nothing, they're blank.
Yeah, well, boy, so. I don't know why February has been such a busy month, but you may see a structure going up next to the Eversource fence. The student learning lab is underway, so that is the one zoning permit that was issued for the month. And that is going to be a really neat project for students at Housatonic. Some questions, everyone remembers 87 Music Mountain with some unauthorized activity out there. I continue to follow up with the property owner regarding debris on the property. They're always very responsive when I do reach out to them. They are relatively remote and they have a daughter that's a point person that can come locally and take care of things. Thank you to everyone that you are my eyes on the street as community members. So thank you for bringing things to my attention. River Road, I did follow up with Keith Bodwell, the engineer, regarding the approval documentation for the lot line modification as mentioned. Greg and I were in the office and did make sure that that Mylar was signed and filed, just in accordance with our procedures. You are aware of 182 Route 63. That address that is on my zoning report is the same property. I think the discretion in numbers is 182 Route 63 is for the property owner getting land, and the other one is 190, I believe.
Okay.
But it's just something wonky with those numbers. That's about the map filing request. It was a little bit out of order where the attorney came in to file the map. Luckily, the clerk is very communicative and will not let people file maps without communicating to me to let me know. And then I was able to track down Chris and figure out what he was up to. So that is the backstory for that. 185 Music Mountain Road. I took a very long drive on a very long driveway to look at a property that was just recently completed. So single family home out there on Music Mountain. And I'm just waiting on the as-built before I can kind of cross off that documentation. So final as-bills are requested for the record. Anyone that builds a house moving forward, we need a survey on the map that we file. It's official. We put it in the file. So that's something that we do. I do not accept hand drawings. They're cute, but I don't. So that's just the procedure. It's very standard. And that's just what I do moving forward. 108 Main Street. Yep.
Clarify for me, does that, the as-built, are we talking, is that septic? Or is
An
that
as-
everything?
It's an as-built, so it's a
Right.
survey of A2 quality. So it's gonna be your property lines, your setbacks, where your house is located. I am not your septic sanitary inspector, so I actually
No,
don't.
the only time
that.
I've had
It's on your card.
encountered an as-built was in regards to the septic, where it was as-built, so they had to have their
Same,
maps.
same word.
Principle,
Yeah.
but in a different capacity.
Yeah,
Okay.
completely. Yep, but exactly it. But oftentimes I do get the septic information on those as-built, which is
So
useful.
as-built, I'm just thinking about the term, it must come because some things change over the blueprints that were filed to the as was built might have been around the
Exactly.
rock or
Yeah.
the.
And if the mason and excavator actually put the house in the right spot.
Yeah.
A couple of feet is
which-
enough, right?
which gets them in trouble more often than not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I do appreciate working with clients, so if it's a very large lot and there's no question of setback from the property line, whether they want to avoid a survey up front, there's, at some point, there's always going to be the request for the survey. It's just a matter of needing and asking for a survey, and I do ask for that if it's completely new construction, because there's nothing as a point of reference on that lot to verify location. So that's what I do for new development.
Okay.
108 Main Street, we all heard from the special permit applicant. There was some back and forth with Monica. She was extremely easy to work with. And then there was a few email inquiries. Yeah.
Should that be 107?
Yes, thank you. So attention to detail, I love. I probably
Numbers.
108 Main Street is the
Is here,
frequent
here.
flyer address that I put. The zoning text amendments. So I have many email inquiries from Laura involving process for amending the zoning regulations, also requesting meeting minutes, and then also an email outlining some inadequacies of a Torrington area health documentation. The questions that I could answer were pursuant to zoning text amendments. So I just sent along sort of the statutory requirements to inform her. And then otherwise, I let her know to follow up with Torrington Area Health if there was inadequacy in a application from them. 180 Sand Road, potential for a shop garage. I was asking some further questions so I could discern whether or not that would also be an application for a home business. Very preliminary questions at this point in time. Otherwise, miscellaneous is just, I put these on here so I remember to discuss them. We've discussed the two that are on here. The Board of Selectmen item for referrals is going to be covered potentially by our draft amendment for administering agency for the P and Z regulation. So that we should handle. And then I believe that Greg has taken the lead on communicating to the Board of Finance regarding our budget recommendations. And public ads were pushed to the paper just for the public hearing.
107.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Sorry, my numbering. It's not always one.
Yeah.
Across the street.
So here's hoping March is a little bit busier so that, this is. Public comments, anyone? Any public comments? Anything on Zoom?
No one on Zoom, except for Kim.
Official correspondence, I have none. I think you have any?
No,
Oh, you did
nothing.
the email.
Yeah, nothing was
It wasn't very
officially addressed.
official. Motion to,
Sorry. A couple of copies here if anybody's interested, want to grab. I like printing stuff so I can hold it and read it. Janelle gave me the link to this one. This was from the Center for Housing Authority by Jocelyn Ayer. It's a nice primer for commissioners regarding affordable housing. It's a good read, it's easy. This one is the summary of the new Connecticut housing bill. And there's actually a link where you can watch the presentation if you'd like. I'll send it out.
Yes,
To everybody. It's a good training tool. You know, they sort of skim the surface on a lot of it, but it gives you a good picture of where the bill's going. And like I said, when I sat in and watched the other day, I just get this feeling that things are kind of clamping in a little tighter on municipalities in terms of the flexibility you have to deny
Right.
housing coming, which is all good, I suppose, but nobody likes to be told what to do either, right? It's so. Anyway, they're good reads if you want them. I wasn't gonna make too many copies.
Now, tis
Thank
the
you.
season to write to your legislatures,
Good point.
especially in
That
the
was on,
excitement for reelection. That some of them may or may not have.
Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Stephen, 8:26. Second? Come on, Vincent.
Vince.
Vince,
think it's
second.
all
It's gotta be
you.
Vince.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Kim. I hope you.
Weird. I feel bad.
Yeah.